Real Estate with Gavin and my friend Nici. Good morning, Nici.
Good morning, Miss Gavin. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I love that you specify my friend.
My friend. My friend. You are my friend.
It is. I love it.
So we're getting into, it's still fall and winter's coming. But today's topic is your home winter ready?
Good thing to talk about and discuss, because I'll tell you what, as those winter months are rolling in, as usually it would be snowing by now, 100%.
I know. We are so lucky we haven't had
And when I
any
say
stuff
snowing,
yet.
I'm talking like big time
Accumulation,
snow.
right.
Yes, not just like a dusting here and there or anything like that. Usually we would have the snow, but with the winds that have been going and whipping,
Oh, I know.
that alone makes
Exactly.
you think, I need to get my house a little more winterized, winter ready, more so not even just for yourselves, but if you're going to be putting it on the market, you're looking to buy it, all that
Or
stuff.
even if you're thinking ahead of maybe you're selling and putting it on the market in the spring.
Yeah.
But I think we really enjoyed our extended summer and warmer months and seasons here. But you can see people now are now scrambling around trying to get all the furniture inside, dealing with a bunch of things. So I thought it'd be really appropriate to talk about what you should be doing right now in November, whether or not you are selling, just to protect your strongest, biggest asset to many, which is your home.
Absolutely.
So, let's talk a little bit about that. My goal today is to make sure that we're giving homeowners, and this also applies to landlords, of course, you've got to protect that asset, and you may or may not have tenants that are assisting in these processes, but all homeowners, we want to talk about some clear tips on what you can do to get your home winter ready. And so the tune-ups that you do now and the prep you do now in November can save you thousands of dollars this winter.
Yes.
And that's really the major takeaway today. So we're going to keep it simple. But why do we think about November as being the most important time to do these things? Well, because we don't have an abundance of snow yet. Because once that hits, it's kind of too late.
Yes.
So you want to be doing this now. But this is right now, I think, we're the first time, October was pretty mild. Now we're all of a sudden getting into the heating season in Western New York, right? So we've got a higher strain on our systems all of a sudden, our furnaces, our boiler systems, all that. And this is the time where you're going to start maybe noticing things like small gaps that it can become leaks or frozen pipes or ice dams later. So this is the time when we're still pretty dry outside that you want to approach these things. And it's all about safety first. You want to make sure, in addition to all this, that your smoke detectors and your carbon monoxide detectors are ready, because we're in fireplace season.
Yes.
So these are all the things that are really important. So I want to talk about like a core list of 5 checklist items that are must-dos in November.
Okay.
So number 1, service your heating system. This is the time. You should have done it already, but if you haven't, it's like last call. Because here's what you don't want to have happen. You don't want to be, and it's happened. It's happened to me before. It's happened to any property owner probably in the history of property ownership, that you maybe even did get your furnace service, but something happens. We have an incredible weather event, like a blizzard a few years ago, right?
Yes.
And a furnace goes out during that. Good luck.
Oh,
right?
Truth. It
Good
happened
luck.
to me. Yes, I know exactly.
Everybody has got like, yep, that happened to me or my friend or my family member or my mom, my dad. So let's make sure. Number 1, November is the time. If you haven't done it already, you should be looking into servicing your heating system. You should be replacing filters. You should be testing your thermostat. And I would consider, a lot of people are very comfortable doing those things themselves and testing their heating system, but consider a professional tune-up.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and especially when I sell homes to folks, I let them know that, look at the maintenance log on the furnace, and if there's a contractor with whom this home's service has already been working with, a particular contractor locally, why don't you continue working with them or give them a buzz and see what their tune-up package is, so that you're on autopilot. They call you, they know to come, hey, it's time for your annual checkup, and you get that done.
Nope, I agree.
Really important. And number 1, guys, that is the heart of the home as we get into the winter things. It is the key to making sure everything else is moving smoothly. So I highly recommend that. So service your heating system. Number 1. Number 2, seal your windows and doors. Okay?
This is the one I was waiting to hear. This is a problem I ran into last year.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay.
I'm very happy this is in the top
So what
3
happened
at
to
least.
you? Why were you anticipating this?
It was one of those issues where around the edges, I had noticed a little bit of ice had come in. And I thought, that's on the inside of my house.
Yeah.
Yes. That's not supposed to be there. Don't notice it really during the, fall, spring,
You wouldn't.
summer.
That's right.
Then when it ices over.
And then you're like, what the heck is that?
You're like, where did this come from? Yeah.
So now is the time. Now, if you've got beautiful, brand new windows that are really sealed and they're fabulous and everything's caulked and everything, and you've done that maintenance, that's great. Congratulations. But a lot of us, as we know in Western New York and certainly in the Glow region, we have an aging inventory of homes.
Yep.
Not everybody has those beautiful, brand new replacement windows, etc. Nope. So this is your time to sort of test those windows and those doors and gaps out. I recommend weather stripping and caulking to keep the heat in and the drafts out, because like you witnessed, Nici, air was getting in, and then all of a sudden the ice is getting in because there was, it's the accumulation of the warmth from the inside meeting with that draftiness.
Yep.
Ice is supposed to be outside your home, not inside of it. Or ice in your cocktail, that's okay, but we don't want it on your window, right?
No.
So number 2, seal your windows and doors. And a lot of people do, they've got those kind of fuzzy things they put in a door jamb, underneath to help with drafting, maybe an attic space too to keep that coolness up and out. Lots of different ways to do that, but definitely seal your windows and doors. That's number 2. Number 3, not going to be a surprise to anybody, or at least it shouldn't be, because you're seeing a lot of people do it right now, cleaning your gutters and your downspouts. Okay? Because now all of a sudden we're getting that rain that we haven't had in a long time. But they're probably full of leaves, because all of a sudden we had all these leaves drop.
Yes.
They dropped like they were hot. So make sure you're cleaning your gutters and your downspouts to prevent the ice dams and your fascia rot, the exterior area of your home to which those eaves troughs are connected. You want to make sure that those aren't getting moisture and water to really create exterior rot. You don't want that. You want to make sure that the water flows away from the home. It's routed from the home, that those downspouts and extensions are going away from the home, not in the basement.
No.
Yep. And a lot of people I know love the aesthetic of having the buried downspouts, but just check those too, because that can get problematic over time, and that can have moisture and water going into your basement. So you want to make sure that everything's extending out and away from the home. And I don't want to see a bunch of people up on ladders doing this. This might be something that you contract out with a professional who takes the proper safety guards to do this properly for you. But it's an number 1 thing. When I'm showing homes with buyers and I see some issues on the exterior, even the basement, 9 times out of 10, it's not really a major issue with the home. It's that those gutters, systems, and downspouts haven't been cleaned and serviced properly, and water's getting in. It could be a real quick fix to get those things properly cleaned and routed, moisture away from the home. If you don't do it and you've got that accumulation over time, then you're going to run into some issues.
Yes.
Big issue. Number 3, clean your gutters and downspouts. And again, I don't want you up on a ladder. Maybe you need to contract that out. Safety first, right?
Yeah.
Number 4, check your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors.
Okay.
Big time, okay? You got a story about this?
Well, I was just going to say, it's funny because a couple weeks ago we had just had the Batavia City Fire Department in.
Yes.
And this was something that they were definitely stressing, as this is, unfortunately, I hate to say it, a busy time of the year for them. This is their busy time, especially with the holidays coming up. We've got so many extra things being plugged in. The trees, it's dry.
Yeah.
Crazy dry inside our houses. And yes, having those detectors is essential right now.
You really have to.
Yes.
You really have to. It's worth testing them all. And especially, things like generators. This concerns me too. A lot of people, and I know that generators are an important thing now, a feature that people look for in homes, because we've had some significant power outages with weather-related issues in the last several years. So even if you don't have a permanent generator, you have a portable, don't put it inside the garage.
No.
You need to route that and make that safely installed as well. But that's why the smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are so important, especially if you've got a wood-burning stove, you have a fireplace you use. You got to make sure that you are safe, and those are all where they need to be, fresh batteries. We can confirm placement of where they should be in the bedrooms, outside bedrooms, etc.
Yes.
We'll get into that in a second. So that's number 4. Check your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, please. Number 5, protect exposed pipes. Okay? So things like when you've got things in crawl spaces or in basements or garages that they're exposed and maybe it's very cold in those areas, you want to protect them. You'll see sometimes that people actually wrap pipes and things to make sure that they're
protecting them. Or put like pool noodles over them.
Yes, you got
it.
Yes, yeah. Especially if maybe you're in an older home and it's not so airtight down in that basement. You've got a little exposure coming in. You see it a lot in older homes for sure. Make sure that you're protecting those exposed pipes.
Yeah.
A lot of times you see them in things like garages and sheds and things like that too. Crawl spaces is a biggie. If you don't have a formal basement, but you have an area of the home or the entire home is on a crawl space, heat tape, things like that. Manufactured home, mobile homes, a lot of times you'll see exposed pipes underneath there. Make sure that they're properly protected. So that you make sure that you're not going to have frozen pipes and things like that.
Yes, there's nothing worse than a burst pipe in the winter, of course.
Yeah, and I promise you it will be the worst and most inconvenient time for it to happen. And this is why you want to be proactive with this maintenance, because otherwise you're gonna pay for it later. Pay now or pay later. So put it in your budget with your home maintenance and get these things done now so that you're not paying later on. So,
absolutely.
Other things, because we are in a colder climate, the focus here being snow and ice zones where we live here in the Glow region, your roof and chimney. You want to make sure that you're looking at loose shingles on your roof. Repair those things now. Is the flashing all okay? Do we have cracked caps or crowns near the chimney where maybe birds and things can get into the chimney and things like that? So schedule a chimney sweep if you burn wood. I mean, that's an essential. That residue that builds in your chimney over time if you have a wood-burning stove, and a lot of us do around here, certainly out in the country, you want to make sure that you're getting eyes on those, a professional on those, and getting the chimney inspected and swept once a year, because it's a fire hazard if you create all that residue and that creatine buildup over the time, and you don't want to do that. Safety first. So roofs and chimneys need to be inspected and dealt with. Get your winter essentials ready now. Right? Now's the time to hit up the store. Like, get your salt, get your sand, get your shovels ready. I already have my my ice scraper and everything ready in my car already. Get flashlights, batteries, extra blankets ready.
And a good thing too, and I know, obviously we're talking real estate and stuff like that, but like even cars, like get yourself a little package of whatever for your car, a water, a blanket, a candle, even something as simple as a candle can help, in case you get stranded.
That's right.
Knows we live in Western New York, you never know.
That's right.
But yes, and I just wanted to add real quick, it's funny that you say get those little essentials. I even got a sled strictly for the purpose of taking my garbage out.
There you go. Because
when it's
icy
winter,
driveways, those things. You want to protect yourself. You want to protect your property.
Throwing it on a sled,
I like
I'm
that,
walking
Nici.
it
Good
down.
one. I like the sled. It's fun to take the garbage out when you have a sled, right? Other things like outdoor water. So right now you should be winterizing exterior faucets, sprinkler systems. If you've got an irrigation system, you need to drain that and winterize that and get that ready.
Yes.
Drain your hoses, store them. It's these little things that are like, it's so much work to get winterized. Our season here is so short. But I promise you, if you do these things, you'll be thanking yourself later. And even when we have a mild season like we do right now, and let's hope, knock on wood, that we're going to have a mild winter. I can't promise that. But drainage, clear the leaves from your yard and your drains and the street gates. Make sure you're extending those downspouts. We talked about that. Check on your siding and foundation. Seal cracks to keep the moisture out. Your trees and your bushes, trim them now to prevent storm damage later.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, I was wondering where that was going. I'm like,
because we get big winds, and we've been in a very windy season right now. Yes. Here come branches that could create other damage, not just to your home, but your neighbor's home, your vehicle, yourself. So really get eyes on all that now, because now that the leaves are gone, you can really see, that branch, I hear a little creak there. Maybe we take that down now before 100%. It ends up in my window, right? Things like that. And year round, if you haven't done that already, not all of us have central air in this area. Now we're getting the season where it's too dangerous to run that. When we get below a certain temperature here, you don't run the AC. You're going to damage the system. But you should have already double-checked your HVAC. Get your outdoor living reset. Like, store that furniture. Get that all ready. Make sure, like some of you I know like to have outdoor fire pits, outdoor lighting, or like those really cool kind of bistro patio heaters.
Yeah.
Test those systems now. Make sure they're properly secured. Again, windy season, things start blowing around, not good. And then pest control. This is where critters start coming in.
Yes,
because they're cold, right?
Yes,
they're cold. They're going to come in. So start looking where there's gaps, where you can seal those things. Vents, pipes, attic spaces. If you've got black walnut trees, trust me, I understand. It's like bowling in your attic if a squirrel gets in, right? You don't want to do that. So, that's all the exterior things we think about. But we also need to think about room by room, okay? And the interior, like kitchen, make sure your vacuum fridge coils are okay and that's working properly. Make sure you're testing outlets. Make sure you've got sink shutoffs, because especially in the winter season here, if you're going to leave for a weekend, and some of us go south and go to Florida, et cetera, make sure those systems are all working. You don't have an active leak or something like that that's going to create havoc later.
Yes.
That's a biggie. In your baths and your laundries on the inside, inspect the caulk that you've got. Make sure you check those washer hoses, because there's nothing worse than doing the laundry. You leave to go to the grocery store thinking that nothing's wrong.
Yes.
You come back to a flood and thousands of dollars.
I've done that.
Yeah, so don't do that. Run fans, We always are running dehumidifiers and things like that. Sometimes still humidity is an issue and we want to still run things like fans. Your attic and your basement, look for damp spots, insulation gaps, and critter trails. You can start seeing them, so you want to get ahead of it now. So, all this energy budget saver stuff, it's pay now or pay later. Weather stripping, door sweeps, foam gaskets on outlets on exterior walls, these are all really cost-effective things to save you thousands of dollars later. LED bulbs on exterior fixtures, that's really good with kind of dawn to dusk sensors. Smart thermostat schedules. I know a lot of people like their smart thermostat that runs from their cell phone.
Yes.
Test those systems so that even if you're away from the home for an extended period of time, you can make sure the heat's on, you're not doing freezing pipes and all that. So it just matters. It matters now, even if you're not preparing to get in the market. It's just all about protecting your biggest, your strongest asset to many, which is your home.
Right.
Landlords, too, you're protecting your asset and your tenant. And if you are ready and you're thinking about getting your house on the market now or soon in the spring, do these things now so you're not doing double time in addition to all the other things you've got to do to get your home ready to sell in the spring. Make sure you're being proactive and do these things now.
Absolutely. And there's nothing worse than getting yourself caught into that routine of this house is starting to nickel and dime me because I hadn't prepped and prepared. And then you unfortunately sometimes actually see people who will end up selling because there's just too much work that needs to be done.
That's right.
And they can't afford it or just are sick of doing it and putting, time and effort into it. So
the things you do now are going to protect you in the long run. So a couple Q&A things. How often, Nici, do you think you should change a filter for a furnace?
Once a year. No, I don't want to be looked at weird.
No, I'm just curious because a lot of people might not know that.
I don't have a clue.
Definitely annually, no problem. I mean, annually, but like every 1 to 3 months, depending on. I know, and most of you are probably out there laughing
why I have
too.
Allergies in my home.
But that would be really important. Like that's just a really cost-effective thing you should be doing. Do you need a chimney sweep if I really use my fireplace, Nici? Would you recommend that I get it professionally looked at?
Well, talking to you, yes, but would you really?
Yeah,
if you very rarely use it?
Annually, you should get it looked at.
Yeah.
And it's not just, a lot of times you'll hear, people, I haven't used that in 10 years, I've never used it. Okay, well, it's not just about the usage and the actual burning of fire. It's about critters getting in.
Oh, yeah, okay. You know what? Yeah.
So it should be checked annually, whether you really use it or not. And if you're using it, absolutely, because you're going to have that buildup like we talked about. Do you know, Nici, where carbon monoxide detectors should go in your home?
So this can be argued because this was an actual really good question and conversation I had with the fire department. And they said that carbon monoxide is basically the same weight as air. So it doesn't matter if it's up or down or all around. It basically just mixes in with your air and can be detected more or less anywhere.
Yep. But in the home, and it's a New York State law too, you should have a carbon monoxide. I recommend the carbon monoxide smoke detector combos.
Yes. Some
people split those out, and that's fine, but they should be outside all sleeping areas.
Yes.
So every bedroom should have one, right? And you want to follow those manufacturer and code guidance. They'll say right in the package what you should do. But it should also be on every level of the home. You should have one in the basement, first floor, second floor, attic. Really cover your bases.
Okay.
It's a $50 device.
Yes.
Right?
Oh.
But look what it can do. It's
Absolutely.
a safety hazard. It's one of the best investments you're ever going to make. So just to recap, make sure November is the time that you are servicing your heat, you're sealing your drafts, you're clearing your gutters, you're checking those detectors, and you're insulating pipes. And if you have more questions about my tips and tricks to get ready in November, before we get the white stuff and all the snow, call me at 585-344-1321. I'm happy to connect you with local contractor referrals. I know a lot of you are do-it-yourselfers and you're comfortable and confident doing those things, but I do think every so often you need to have a professional come in and really look at the systems in your home to make sure you're protecting yourself and your home.
I agree, and I love everything that you said today. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good episode.
It's a good episode.
Yeah.
Great. So we're keeping it real estate here on WBTA. Thanks for joining us today, guys. And again, we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful week.